Hello, it's Dr. Kris. Today we're talking about CBD oil for pets. So a lot of you already know what this is, of course, CBD. I know someone who could benefit from some CBD. Now, what could CBD actually stand for if I was gonna name it for this person? Calm brain drops, that's one. What's another one? Canceled bad decisions. Is that a good one? I think it is. Crisis buffering drops. How's that? That's a great one, isn't it? Can't be dramatic. I think that's a fair one. Consciousness buffering device. So as a vet talking about CBD, I gotta tell you, most of the time, it's my clients, my people who've got their cats and dogs who bring it to me. They want to know if they can use it because they've already Googled it. They've already sort of figured out it's something that they think could have application for their pet. Let me do it right now. Here, let me go on Google. Can I give my dog CBD oil? The AI overview in Google says, yes, dogs can have CBD oil, but it is not officially approved or regulated by the FDA or Health Canada. Always consult your vet first, as CBD can interfere with other medications. Use only pet-specific oils. Avoid human products which can contain toxic ingredients. And this is why we don't 100% just believe AI right off the bat. AI is in its infancy, it's still learning, and so I would say this is inaccurate. So very quickly, what is CBD? I mean, we all just call it CBD, but what does it actually stand for? Well, it's a compound, it comes from a plant, and of course it's the same plant that gives us marijuana and a bunch of other compounds. And now dogs and cats, they can't have marijuana. Why? I mean, my first vet gig ever, baby Dr. Kris, when I graduated from school, was in Vancouver Island. And this was back in 2004-05. And when I was there, what was the common thing that I saw? Well, it was dogs who came in and they got into their owner's stash of pot, of marijuana, of THC. And they didn't enjoy it at all. They're highly sensitive to it. They would come in, they would just look out of it, glazed, dribbling urine, ataxic, they couldn't walk properly, they'd have to go on an IV drip. They were all okay, but it was A, not an enjoyable experience for them. B, you know what, they're so sensitive to it that there isn't any therapeutic value there for them, that essentially we kind of treat it like a toxin, right? This is not true for CBD. CBD doesn't have those effects on our dogs and cats. There are other beneficial effects that we could use. CBD is a product that contains cannabidiol, which is CBD, a naturally occurring compound extracted from hemp or the cannabis plant. Unlike THC, CBD is non-psychoactive. It doesn't affect your brain, meaning that it does not cause a high or intoxication. It is widely used as a natural remedy for stress, pain, and sleep issues. And I would even say one of the first FDA uses that I saw being approved was actually for seizures in children, and it was highly effective. This is one of the first papers that I ever read about it in terms of its relevance. Did you know that the other species that it could work for are pet fish? What happens if you give fish, the same fish that you get from the store and you put it in your little fish tank, what happens if they're exposed to CBD? So we have this paper here, Applied Animal Behaviour Science. It's M. Jones et al. There's a lot of authors here. And the paper is called The Effect of CBD in Transport Water on the Behavior of Ornamental Fishes. And so this paper has something to do with transport stress. What does that mean? Well, when you've got little pet fish, what happens is that they've got to get to your pet store and then they're eventually going to get to your home aquarium. Now, during that transportation, whether it be by plane, train, or automobile, what's going to happen is they're in little bags and they're stressed. They just got taken from where they were living. They're in a dark bag. They have no idea what's going on. They could be in fight or flight. They're very stressed out, right? And so what this paper is looking at is CBD added to the water, and what does it do to their behavior? Can CBD work in fish? And what does that mean about fish? What does that mean about their potential states of ability to have fear or stress, their ability to consciously experience these states, right? That's where I take these things to, and I'll tell you why in a moment. The hobby of fish keeping as companion animals often involves a wide range of fish species which originate from countries far from where they're sold. So we just talked about that, right? Maladaptive stress arising from transportation can compromise homeostasis, resulting in Bad effects to fish health. What does that mean? I'm a mobile vet, right? So some of you want me to come to your house because of the maladaptive states of transportation in your dogs and cats as well. You put them in the plastic box of doom, or you put them in the back and they're stressed and they're having fight or flight reactions. They're not enjoying the experience. These little fishies, same thing. They don't know what's going on. They're kind of shell-shocked, right? Fishes that are acutely or chronically stressed during international transport become vulnerable to disease as a result of suppressed immune systems. Improving the welfare of fish transported internationally in the trade is therefore of importance, both ethically and economically, and a variety of natural compounds have been trialed as water additives with the aim of reducing this stress. Okay, so they're gonna see if CBD can do this for fish, if it can calm them down, maybe make them less scared, if it can reduce anxiety. So imagine, how are you gonna know if a fish has less fear, stress, or anxiety? But let's back that question up a little bit. Can a fish experience fear, stress, anxiety, or even pain? Well, you're talking to the right vet. Back in the 1990s, I was a part of a team at the University of Guelph, and when I was studying there, this is even before vet school, I was on this team to specifically answer the question, can fish experience states of pain, fear, or stress, aka are they conscious? Do they know about it? Is it something that really matters? Should we be paying attention to this? And the research, this is back in the 90s, was fascinating, absolutely fascinating, and also heavily criticized because it was so divisive. And in the scientific community, it was so divisive. And what you would think would be common sense in the scientific community was not common sense, okay? Even to this day. Basically, my conclusions back then were that you can't exclude it. There is nothing in any literature, nothing about what we know about these species that allows you to definitively prove that they cannot experience these states. And in addition to that, there's a whole lot of information about their anatomy, their forebrain anatomy, their brain function, their neurochemistry, the type of nerves that got running through their body, the way that they function in the world, as the fact that they are vertebrates as we are as well, and certain things are conserved in a vertebrate line through evolution, right? And so there's a lot of information to say this makes sense, probably best to give them some benefit of the doubt, given that, okay, well, just like our cats and dogs, they don't speak our language, we can't ask them specifically, but of course no one denies these things are cats and dogs, at least that's credible. In the fish world, it's a little bit different. So what happened in this study? And this is the other cool thing about this study. I actually did something similar back again in the early 90s. So what they did in this, and here, let me bring it up. They essentially put CBD oil in the bags, and they did it in a very controlled way so they could figure things out properly. And then they put the fish in this little styrofoam container, and then they put it on a cute little trolley, and then they trolley the fish around, and then they stopped the trolley, and then eventually they put the fish in a tank. And in the tank, they were able to do essentially what is an ethogram. And what an ethogram does is you can judge their behavior, and then you can infer based on their behavior, what's their level of stress, what's their level of anxiety, what are they doing in there? Is there a difference between the fish in this tank swimming about without CBD after their trolley transport stress versus fish that had the CBD in the water? Now they have a lot of other variables, a lot of other things they were looking for, but essentially that's what I'm gonna focus on today. Now this really reminds me of Dr. Kris, youthful Dr. Kris back in the day, because I did something very similar, except in a big truck with big trout. It was a rainbow trout. And I was in this truck with, I don't know, I think it was 1,000 gallons in a huge tank behind me. And I was transporting these fish from one facility, Guelph, to the University of Waterloo. And I had these trackers on fish so I could judge during the transportation their behavior, what they were doing. Were they stressed? Were they making sudden erratic movements? Were they calm? And when I got to my location, I actually had this thing that was like a treadmill for fish. I'm not kidding. It's like a treadmill for fish. You could put the fish in it and the fish would swim. And when that fish could swim, you could adjust the flow of water and you can measure how much oxygen that they were taking from the water. Almost like you would do with like a human athlete on a treadmill with a little mask measuring oxygen to get their VO2 max to figure out their athletic potential. So we did that for fish. And let me tell you, while I was doing these studies, I saw fish do interesting things that just anecdotally, I was like, oh yeah, there's more than meets the eye that's going on here. I mean, I saw one fish, I was asking it to swim in this fish treadmill, and what he did instead of wanting to swim is he swam up to the front grate and he just bit it with his mouth so he didn't have to swim. He was like the smartest, laziest fish that I saw. He's like, nah, this is a Wednesday, I'm hungry, I just got transported. Why you ask me to swim in this big fish treadmill? And I just saw this diversity of behavior that I was like, okay, if you spend any time looking at any animal, any species, they're going to surprise you, right? Traditionally for mammals, this was the whole cat thing. Well, cats don't have emotions like dogs do, and so they're a little bit different. So how would people bond with cats? Talk to anyone who's got any cat for any amount of time and you're gonna discover how much emotions that are inside of them, right? What did they find when they put the fish in the tank after being transported with the CBD in the water? They put the fish in this tank, they had a video camera. I remember doing stuff like this back in the day. They had a GoPro 5. I did not have a GoPro 5. I had a big VCR looking thing with probably like VHS tapes. It's so much easier to do these things nowadays, but it was fun. You know, I had to hook up all these cables, arrange them on top of fish tanks, and anyways, I had a blast. They found the main behavior result was that CBD reduced aggression and stress-like movement patterns. Less biting, less chasing, less erratic movements. It really does seem that CBD oil for these fish under times of perceived stress, aka transportation, did have an effect. And the effect was readily observable in a scientific study, and it seemed to drop their levels of stress so these little fishes could have less stress responses and they were more likely to survive the next steps until they got their forever home, right? So, CBD and fish, it's a thing. And if it's a thing for them, could it be a thing for your pet, your cat or dog? Well, here's the thing. CBD, it's in this weird regulatory space right now. I've got to talk about it kind of a funny way when a client brings it up. And here's how I talk about it. I say this, CBD, yes, we can do it. Here's the pros, here's the cons, but the first thing that I do is I always relate my discussion to the scientific literature. There are studies about cats and dogs as well that come out and they say, here's your dosage guideline, you can probably use this much. And then I'm gonna say to you, because this is just true, there is no Health Canada approved or veterinary approved formulation. And so then I gotta say, go get it at a reputable source. I can't tell you where that source is, but you gotta go get it. Where do people mostly get it? It's at the government store, basically. So you go get it, and it's gonna say no THC, or it's a negligible amount that isn't bioactive, and it's mostly CBD. And then it's gonna have a messed up label, and that label is gonna give you no instructions whatsoever, and it's not even gonna give you concentration. And then my clients will send me a picture of what's on the bottle. I can work with the concentration, and then I can say, the scientific literature says use this much, and then I'm gonna say, don't use that much, start low, and then you can go higher within these boundaries. And if your pet has any liver issues, we've got to watch out for that because there are side effects at higher end of the dosages. All right, and what would we even use this for? Well, for dogs and cats, it would be for anxiety, but also for arthritic pain. And there are some case studies that one can consider it for seizure-like states or seizures as well. If we're using it for anxiety, calming, or fear-based states in dogs and cats, and a fish is responding in the same way to these molecules, does that not lend credence to the idea that they can also feel fear or stress or anxiety in a very real way that matters to them? I think it does. What do you think? Much more on that. We're gonna make more videos on my journey with sentience, conscious states in fear, stress, and pain in fish, why it matters, why it's controversial. But long story short, if you ever do want to talk about CBD for your dog or cat, and I guess now even your pet fish, you just call us. You'll let us know. We can have that conversation here at the 100X Vet. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time.